you're here looking for a shoulder to cry on, tough luck, this one's laced with straight-up sarcasm. For drowning your sorrows, I'd recommend ice cream and binge watching, because what's coming next is a brutal takedown for any wannabe alpha texting champ who thinks ghosting turns him into some enigmatic, can't-resist-me mystery man. Cute reconquest fantasies? Save them for fairy tales, and even those are a stretch. Whining, but I love her around here, just cements your spot as the side character in her love story. What you're about to get is the cure for hopeless romantics. Either you turn into solid ice, or you'll keep lurking invisibly in her feed while she's cracking up on the other side of the screen. Don't say I didn't warn you. This is where the weak ones crumble, and only the truly cold survive. Picture this. It's over. She's vanished, and you pull off the full ghosting ritual straight out of a dramatic soap opera. Delete her number, scrub the pics, swear to yourself you've become a monk of detachment. Your buddies, those certified experts in epic fails, swear no contact will have her sprinting back like an ex-chasing Olympian. YouTube? It hawks the secret formula for a triumphant comeback, but forgets to mention the grand prize is premium-grade humiliation. You play it cool on Instagram, but inside, you're like a kid watching Santa hand your gift to the neighbor. Your heart's on fire, stomach's in knots, anxiety's opening a franchise, but hey, the facade has to hold. And that's when the Oscar-worthy performance kicks in. Vanish from the grid, but refresh WhatsApp every minute waiting for a sign from above. When's the last time you felt like a speck of dust hanging on for a notification that never drops? Exactly. The real battlefield isn't your phone, it's the emotional circus you've set up in your own head. Let's cut the BS. Ghosting doesn't make you a man, let alone a relevant human being. What separates the grown-ups from the kids is how you handle it when the silence turns into slow-drip torture. The mistake? It's not shooting your shot too soon. The real killer, the one that turns you into the punchline in her group chat, is not being able to handle your own emptiness, turning into a crumb chaser, reinventing yourself as a needy puppy begging for scraps of validation. The epic fail starts right when the quiet flips to desperation and you resort to the classic self-sabotage moves, subtweets, stories, cryptic quotes, that cowardly like on a post you swore you'd never touch again. This is where we dismantle your wimpy fantasy, no filter, no mercy, and show you how you're rolling out the red carpet for her to walk all over you, and you still say thanks. Heads up, if you think you're walking away from this video with your ego boosted, switch channels now. Here, you either learn by getting emotionally body slammed, or go back to hoarding last seen timestamps and deleted comments on her profile. Before we dive in, let's fire up whatever brain cells you've got left. This video didn't pop out of thin air or some feel-good energy vibe. It exists because someone probably less delusional than you had the sense to like, comment, and subscribe. It's not magic, it's the algorithm. And unlike you, the algorithm doesn't sit around waiting to be noticed. It only delivers if you give something back. So if you're just lurking, soaking up content like the universe owes you a comeback, congrats on the nerve. Hit like, subscribe, drop a thanks in the comments just to keep up the self-help guru act. Enough stalling. Brace yourself because the emotional gut punch is incoming and no numbing shots here. Number 1. The myth of no contact as a foolproof weapon. What a masterpiece of naivety. You actually bought into the childish belief that no contact is some magic potion that turns any ex into an emotional zombie, crawling back to you in silent agony. Sweet delusion. In your head, dropping off the map makes you an irresistible enigma, a human puzzle. In reality, it just casts you as the mute extra in a crappy drama. This infamous no contact has become the golden crutch for desperate dudes. You act all zen and stoic on social media, but inside, you're more lost than airport Wi-Fi. The issue isn't the tactic, it's the immaturity behind it. You're not vanishing for growth. You're vanishing like a sulky kid waiting to be begged back into the game. What maturity, right? The best part is the irony. You think ghosting gives you control, when it just exposes how you never even skimmed the manual on that relationship. And her? She's not starring in a detective series about your disappearance. Nah, she's just living her life, while you direct your epic vanishing act in your frustrated screenwriter brain. No Contact turns into an emotional time bomb for anyone who can't handle their own vulnerability. You hang on to hope, scripting dialogues, dreaming up scenarios where you're the prize they're hunting. But silence, buddy, isn't a strategy. It's a gamble for someone who lost before the cards were dealt. The myth is laughable. Just disappear, and everything fixes itself. The raw truth: vanishing does squat when you're still emotionally on standby, tuned into her every breath. It was never about her. It was always about you dodging your own cowardice. And it's that very cowardice wrapped up in fake independence that's shoving you toward the next flop. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, crumbles from your silence. But you? Oh, you'll crash hard from your pathetic expectations. That's when the real fall begins. Number 2, the silent panic. What's brewing in your head when you ghost? What a pathetic spectacle. You figured it was just about taking a break, blocking, ditching the couple pics, posting stoic stories, and boom, total control, huh? Hate to break it to you, but behind your emotional monk pose, it's pure chaos for a lost boy. The silence you romanticized. It's got zero peace. It's gourmet torture for anyone who never learned to rein in their urges. Under that indifference mask, silent panic blooms, circus-level anxiety, stomach doing flips, mind working overtime to decode every non-notification from her. You love pretending you're calling the shots, but every second just feeds the void, and your brain hammers the mantra. Does she miss me? Is she stalking me? Is she already in someone else's arms? Delicious irony. You think you're playing chess, but you've become a pawn on your own emotional board. In your head's theater, everything's a riddle. Her every move, every viewed story, every denied like. As if she's a sphinx tossing puzzles to test your voluntary humiliation limits. And the kicker, with each of her silences, your inner noise amps up. What started as a master strategy ends in amateur self-torment. You drop off the map but never ditch the emotional addiction no contact? More like house arrest for an affection junkie, because a guy who can't rule his own mind, pal, turns into a puppet of control illusions. Trying to douse a fire with gasoline, that's your genius plan. And it's in this whirlwind of anxiety, expectations, and crawling urges that you sow the seeds for the deadly mistake. That pathetic moment when, choked by your own neediness, you rush to do exactly what you swore through tears and cowardly likes you'd never do again. Congrats on the self-inflicted humiliation. Number 3, the deadly mistake, chasing validation in disguise. Welcome to the modern circus of self-debasement, where the main act is faking indifference while begging for validation in the digital breadline. Sound familiar? After a few days of radio silence, your creative brain turns into a desperation marketing agency. Spontaneous gym stories, selfies with profound captions, that song loaded with subtext just to poke her soul, and of course the needy like on an old post because, look at you. You're so over it. And the cherry on top, you actually think you're fooling anyone. As if that woman who's read you cover to cover turned you down without blinking and smelled your desperation from a mile away is gonna buy this "look how fast I bounced back" charade. The irony. The harder you try to seem bulletproof, the louder your desperation billboard screams. Please notice me. Validate my existence. Every poke for a reaction just shrinks you, breaks you down, and plants you on the pedestal of predictable, insecure guys, the type who ghosts on GPS but keeps creeping in someone else's feed. Chasing validation in disguise is the death certificate for no contact. You can't stand your own invisibility. You need to be noticed, remembered, marked, present, even if it's as a needy ghost haunting notifications. And brace yourself, because this whole performance costs big. The more you show off, the more she knows you're still on her leash, that you haven't changed a bit, and that any second you'll come crawling back like the perfect failed romance extra. It's in this pathetic theater, at the peak of masked desperation, that your image goes into total clearance sale, from X with potential to X who's a total joke. Number 4. The cost of weakness, how you become a prime example of self-devaluation. This is where the show wraps and all that's left is shame in the spotlight. Every lame attempt to grab attention, every timed like, every rehearsed story builds, brick by brick, the monument to your own devaluation. And you don't even notice you're turning into the extra in your own story. The ex nobody takes seriously, just tolerates out of politeness, and turns into fodder for her secret group chat laughs. When you truly ghost, you might earn that basic respect almost formal, like someone who gets that the end is the end and moves on like an adult. But one whiff of masked desperation, and poof, whatever respect was there vanishes faster than your dignity in her Instagram likes. From ice-cold guy, you slide into the predictable, transparent dude driven by reactions who can't even vanish when he tries. And honestly, nothing sparks more contempt than a man who can't even ghost right. The cycle's automatic. Chase validation. She smells the desperation. Any curiosity that could have turned to missing you flips to pity, and respect gets choked out by your predictability. From here on, your digital presence doesn't spark longing. It just annoys. Your name doesn't raise questions, just awkwardness. You become the classic warning sign, the ex who's the bad example when women advise their friends. Don't give him the time of day, he'll come back with some clown move. And guess what? You will, because a guy who can't handle his own silence is doomed to play the ghost, the recurring joke, the walking billboard of failure. The more you try to reclaim respect, the less there is to save. Take a deep breath, because rock bottom has a basement self-sabotage always saves a bonus embarrassment for those who keep falling. Number 5. The self-saboteur's loop. Relapse, humiliation, and addiction to rejection. Now the real horror show starts. The grimy, repetitive routine of the guy who thinks persistence is charming when it's really just neediness gift-wrapped. You've already clocked that ghosting didn't make you more intriguing, but sure, you keep digging through your own ashes hoping to spark some lost dignity. Here, self-sabotage becomes a hobby. Your icebox pose melts, leaving a circus where you're the head clown. The script? No spoilers needed. You ghost, hold strong for a few days, delude yourself into thinking you're tough. But then anxiety hits, hope clocks in, and like a crumb addict, you relapse into hunting for the tiniest sign of life. A simple seen and ignored is enough to reignite your masochistic flame back to failure. And so you return, always return, each time more predictable, more ridiculous. Humiliation isn't an accident here, it's a choice. A habitual choice for someone terrified of silence. Your rejections become your drug. You nurture it, feed it, worship it, even think it's noble to say you're fighting for it. Fight my ass. It's just codependency dressed as a bad soap opera hero. The loop repeats. You reach out, get ghosted, come back smaller. Your self-esteem rots away, and the last shreds of respect evaporate. She, of course, has the script memorized, watches from afar, confident she made the right call, while you sink deeper into the pit of self-pity. Congrats. You've become predictable even to someone who doesn't want to see you. The more you push, the harder it gets to escape the failure maze, because now it's not about her. It's about your addiction to chasing what'll never come back. How adorable. A one-sided relationship with emotional crumbs and lifetime tickets to your own humiliation theater. Number 6. Why you can't truly ghost. The root of emotional dependency. Now let's stab right into the open wound you've been dodging forever. The real reason you can't vanish for good. It's not lack of willpower. It's not because you still like her. That's just pretty packaging for the ugly truth. You're hooked on approval, a a slave to neediness so old it feels like a tattoo. Your problem was never her. It was always you, this walking manual of emotional insecurity. From way back, you learned you only exist when someone notices, accepts, validates you. When that someone bails, your identity tags along, like you're an emotional accessory returned to the shelf. That's why silence scares the hell out of you. It's not her absence. It's yours. You ghost on WhatsApp, but stay chained backstage, scrolling feeds, dissecting crumbs, scripting imaginary chats just to fill your void. That's not love. It's straight-up codependency, the childish attachment of someone who can't face their reflection without an audience. And forget tattooing motivational quotes, posing tough, joining support groups, or posting smiles with strangers pretending to care. None of that hides the fact you can't even ghost yourself, because ditching that ridiculous hope for validation would make you collapse. Most guys who flop at no contact flop because their silence is fake. It's not absence, it's a performance. They fake the chill, but inside they're still kneeling, waiting for any proof they matter. And it's that beggar's stance, that whiff of emotional fear, that always shoves you toward the deadly mistake. Until you face the root of your addiction, you'll stay trapped in the same pathetic loop, with the twist that, over time, fewer people will even notice you exist. That's the point, dude, where you either learn what total absence means, or become a luxury extra in the life of someone who ditched you without a second thought. Number 7. The Path to Real Iciness. How to Reborn Unbreakable. Show's over. Drama's done. Real iciness isn't this digital statue pose, waiting for invisible applause while you melt like ice cream in the sun inside. Authentic chill is staring loss in the face, gazing into the void without a meltdown, feeling the burn and accepting it. No motivational soundtrack, no life lesson rant for your stories, no self-help pats on the back. It's brutal, lonely, uncomfortable. You learn the hard way to bury any comeback cravings, stop hunting signs, ignore profiles, snuff out the cowardly urge to break silence, choke the impulse to provoke reactions, cancel your hope subscription, and trash the contract with expectations. The real turnaround? Killing the addiction to approval dead. Except that silence is total and final, because vanishing is the last shred of dignity you've got, not a cheap trick to jab someone else's ego. If that means losing forever, own it. But own it with chill, with class, with the quiet dignity of someone who doesn't put on a show, doesn't beg, doesn't scrounge for applause or show up as their own extra. An unbreakable guy isn't born in self-help circles or feed quotes. He's built by ditching, once and for all, the need for anyone else's gaze. The world only respects those who vanish without the drama. Silence has to be absolute vanish from body, mind, radar. Not to see if they miss you. Vanish because you refuse to live on emotional scraps anymore. Irony of ironies. Only those who truly ghost discover that respect is silent, uncomfortable, and finally real. Because in the end, the guy who learns to vanish for himself never crawls for anyone again. And in that rare moment for the first time, you start to bother. Not by showing up, but by an absence so total it finally demands respect. If you think this is easy, congrats on the naivety. Only those who've plunged into their own void know self-control isn't learned from motivational vids. And it's in that icy abyss that the man worth being emerges, a reference not for the spectacle, but for silence that's impossible to ignore. Number 8. Brutal self-control. The secret to never stooping low again. Time to bury, once and for all, the romantic BS that self-control is about timing out social media or posting a sweaty gym selfie. Brutal self-control starts when you learn to amputate the urge before it turns into public embarrassment. It's mercilessly choking the desire to snoop, provoke, beg for attention disguised as wounded pride. No such thing as just a quick peek to see how she's doing. Every slip is a neon sign of weakness plastered on your forehead. Want respect? Turn to stone. Learn to shield yourself from yourself. Redirect that pathetic emotional stalker energy to anything that builds real value. Sports that actually hurt, books that challenge, Spartan routines, goals that don't hinge on being seen by any woman. No need for motivational rants, just discipline and a hefty dose of shame. The secret isn't distraction, it's transformation. A real man doesn't live waiting for the next sign from the beyond. He lives chasing the next personal win, off the radar of anyone who already tossed him aside. Self-control is the foundation of iciness. If you can't master your impulses, you'll spend life mastered by others' desires. No humiliation hits harder than realizing your moves revolve around getting noticed by someone who forgot you. Be crueler to your habits than life was to your ego. Don't aim to be remembered as the needy ex, but as the guy who vanished so perfectly even the traces dissolved. That's the only way to never stoop low again, to finally become a benchmark for stance, not failure. In the end, the only woman worth impressing is the one who looks at you and has no clue where you've been, and honestly, you won't give a damn. Number 9. Respect or rejection. The final line between the unbreakable man and the needy one. Here's the divide that separates men from emotional extras. Either you inspire respect, or you beg for scraps of consideration. Sorry to say, but respect isn't handed to digital tantrum throwers, fake ghosts, or those who vanish just to check if anyone's missing them. Real respect goes to those who enforce absence without asking permission, without an audience, without expecting a mature guy of the year trophy. The unbreakable man accepts rejection with a grin, knowing that being forgotten is often the biggest win against becoming group chat fodder. The world doesn't admire those too scared to truly disappear, it pities them. Respect sprouts from that awkward silence that shouts louder than any cryptic rant or self-help post. Fine irony. The more you force being remembered, the quicker you become a footnote. The needy one runs a marathon to stay present, inventing excuses and dramas, fueling a cycle that just amps up the contempt. The unbreakable? Nah. He ghosts for real, and the total vanish becomes legend, not meme. The void bugs people. Silence stirs doubt. Absence is the only message that needs no caption. Doesn't matter if she remembers you fondly or with resentment. What counts is her getting that from here on, you'll never crawl back. A guy who masters proper ghosting becomes a reference. The rest parade is ready-made jokes and luxury extras in friends' chats. Either embrace definitive absence and get remembered for the respect you commanded, or spend life hoarding rejection and begging attention from someone who doesn't even miss you. Pick the legend side because neediness, buddy, never became a benchmark. Lethal close. In the end, life doesn't waste a second on your drama. The world keeps spinning, people forget, and all you earn by being predictable, available, and emotionally groveling is the title of Invisible X, the one who only serves as a bad example when women warn their friends about what not to put up with. Respect isn't a consolation prize, let alone a medal for the sufferer turning pain into an internal spectacle. Respect is born when you become absent even from yourself, when you accept the void without fanfare, ditch the need for a comeback, and shut down the voluntary humiliation theater. A man who masters eternal absence doesn't just haunt those who underestimated him, he breaks free from the worst prison an adult can build, dependency on female approval. Those who skip this lesson are doomed to an endless buffet of emotional crumbs, groveling for attention where only rejection lives. So swallow that silence, ditch the emotional begging, and prove through the only means left that you can vanish like a man, not a desperate kid chasing validation. Write it with the chill you never had. My silence is my weapon.